Alexander. Shabbat for three. Bingo!
Butler will get it for the win. Got it! He is hard to believe.
Here's Jordan.
Yes. The Magic, a 360 turn with the dribble. Magic down the middle. Gives underneath to Worthy. Slammed up.
Third in the corner. Double fake.
What's going on? Wait for it. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Dime Dropper. I hope you guys, for those of you guys watching on the live, enjoyed that. My real intro for the first time for a live. So, testing out some new software. Let me know in the comments right now. Not even necessarily the comments. Actually, no, if you're watching this later, let me know in the comments. But right now, live chat, let me know how the sound is coming in. Are we lagging? Is everything good? You know what I'm saying? Is the connection good? It's our first time using this. So tonight, before I start talking about the games, before we get started, as you guys know, please make sure to subscribe on YouTube at Dime Dropper Podcast, Apple Podcasts, follow us on Spotify, and of course, to follow us on all social media platforms at Twitter and TikTok at Dime Dropper Pod. Also, make sure to hit the notification bell. That's something I haven't asked anybody to do yet, but if you're a YouTube subscriber of mine, hit that notification bell so you know when I'm going live or when I post a video, and that may help, it pop up on your feed. You get to see it easier and to comment and view it as quick as possible if you have your time. So let's get into the games tonight. 2 games, both LA teams. I was feeling a little bit under the weather, so I was able to get out and do this live for you guys here on this Friday night. Lakers against the Washington Wizards and the Clippers against the Atlanta Hawks. I'm first going to be talking about the Clippers against the Hawks. I also want to say my apologies to Clipper Nation for not having the vlog for the game the other night against Washington. I was at the game, but my phone died. I was out of the house all day, so I just didn't have any battery. So as I said, I'm going to try to invest in a portable charger, so that won't happen anymore. But let's start out with the Clippers and the Hawks tonight, right? So the Hawks, obviously a dime dropper team last season. They have had a terrible season. I had very high expectations of them to repeat their success from last season, and they have not done so at all. They've been one of the biggest disappointments of the season. And I talked about why that is in I talked about why that is on the midseason preview with my boy Shane, so go check that out. But let's get into the game tonight, shall we? Clippers against the Hawks. In Atlanta, Amir Coffey stayed in the starting lineup. Terrence Mann still came off the bench. Immediately, you got to see that Trae Young attracts 2 guys coming off screens. Every time he comes off a screen, you're going to have to press up a little bit, or you don't want to let him walk into that 3. So in the beginning, we started off with a hedge, hard hedge or trap, basically. And Trae did a really good job of finding guys on the roll, whether it be Capella, DeAndre Hunter, or John Collins. And, Batum was either stuck guarding the ball or guarding corner shooters, because on a lot of those rotations, it was Marcus Morris Sr., Amir Coffey, or Reggie Jackson, and John Collins, Capella, too big, too athletic. They were getting some easy buckets. And when we were able to make those rotations, they were finding guys for some open threes. The Hawks started out shooting the ball really well, as did we. The only difference is the Hawks just kind of had a star. That was kind of my takeaway after the first quarter, was just the Atlanta Hawks have Trae Young and we don't. And, we tried switching our late switches and certain switches of big guys, like Isaiah Hartenstein got stuck on Trae late in that first quarter on an island, and Trae put him in the blender and hit a jump shot. And one thing I noticed from Trae all night long that he's added to his game this season is, we talked about it. If you go back to my season preview with the guys from the Forever I Love Atlanta Sports podcast, we talked about how Trae was kind of a 2-level scorer, kind of like Harden, where he had that floater and he had that 3, but he kind of neglected every shot in between. Well, we did see tonight the ability that Trae Young has kind of adopted that Chris Paul move, where when the screen is set for him on the left, to his left, he'll try to weave back to that right and get into that mid-range. But for Chris Paul, he loves the right elbow. For Trae Young, he loves that, 18 feet away. He was pulling up from like the perimeter, the nail. So So at the end of the first quarter, the Clippers were down 33-24. But the second quarter, Luke Kennard gave us a nice lift off the bench, coming off screens, whether it be on the ball or flare screens off the ball, people trying to get him a little bit of space. He was knocking down his threes. But somebody who played really well for the Hawks off the bench in the non-Trae Young minutes was Bogdan Bogdanovic. By the way, let me know live chat, guys, if you can still hear me, if the sound is good. But anyway, Bojan Bogdanovic is one of those guys that played really well for the Hawks last year when he came back from injury and well in the playoffs. And he kind of took the reins alongside Lou Williams, who was in a little bit here and there. Good to see our old friend Lou and Gallinari, both of which look a little bit washed, but Gallo still looks pretty decent. Lou looks like this could very well be his last season and probably should be his last season, but obviously, Lou's going to do Lou. But Gallinari was him and Bojan Bogdanovic were kind of the main shot creators in that second unit. And Bogdanovic was doing a good job. He was hitting his shots. He got to his floater, I believe, a couple times, but he was causing problems. Terrence Mann gave us good energy off the bench. Brandon Boston, he got 6 minutes. I saw they showed that it was a large portion of his family there. And he got a couple shots off, but for whatever reason, guys, Brandon Boston's jump shot has just looked really suspect of late, like some really bad misses. And, I think he's a good shooter. From the initial impressions we got of him, he's a good shooter. But, because the bad misses, those got to be confidence, right? I'd assume just being out of rhythm, being a little nervous because he's not getting as many minutes, so he feels like every single shot is that much bigger when he's in. But, I hope it's not just that we didn't get, carried away with him making a couple shots when he first kind of got some rotational minutes. But anyway, that was only 6 minutes, so it's not really that big of a part of the game. The Clippers actually made a run when Trae Young came back in the game towards the end of the second quarter. And we did a really good job, mainly Reggie Jackson and Luke Kennard, of making the right reads and pick and rolls. Those are two guys that you cannot let walk into threes. And so that forces your big men to step out. And when guys like Zoo and Isaiah are rolling, Reggie and Luke did a good job of finding them. And Isaiah and Zoo, especially Isaiah, have gotten much better in making those 4-on-3 reads that, are so common in today's NBA, because every single screen with the floor spread, when you send two to the guard, to the ball handler, that's kind of give you a 4-on-3 kind of read if you can make that pass over the top. And Isaiah is so good at finding that extra man. That open man, and finding either a cutter, whether it be Terrence Mann, who I really like in that dunker spot, because when Terrence Mann gets the ball, right around the rim, he is one of those guys that always goes up strong. That's one thing about Terrence. He's always going to go up strong. Sometimes he'll pick up offensive fouls because of that, but he's always going to go right at the body and try to be aggressive. And I like that, Ty Lewis put him in those positions. And then obviously because we have better shooters as well. So it's just basic common sense. But Reggie and Luke were making all the right reads in those pick and rolls. All the extra passes were being made, and we were hitting open threes. Nico got some open threes. I remember Luke Kennard got some open threes. The Brewmaster, things were going well, and we ended the half well. We outscored the Hawks 35-27 in the second quarter. Terrence also, I have to say, and we saw this in the last game when Nico Batum hit the go-ahead three, but Terrence has gotten a lot better at looking for that extra pass and making that extra pass. And he did a good job of finding guys on that extra pass tonight in that second quarter run towards the end of the half. I also want to say too, the Hawks defense, they didn't have DeAndre Hunter last time we played them. When you can check that vlog out, Lou Williams return. It's on my playlist and on my YouTube channel. Hawks and Clippers, Lou Williams return vlog. I sat in the second row, so the content was really good that day. But DeAndre Hunter didn't play, and their defense was a joke that game. We got whatever we kind of wanted. I'm almost positive Clint Capella didn't play either. And we felt their presences both tonight a whole lot. Their length, their ability to guard the ball. In DeAndre Hunter's case, mainly guard the ball, but Clint Capella around the rim. And tonight, Clint Capella, who, I was in a Hawks Space post game with my guy Alex from Hawks Fan TV on Twitter, and they asked me who I thought was the second guy tonight, this most important piece in the Hawks victory. And I say Clint Capella because I thought he did a good job of, not only protecting the rim and playing good defense and drop coverage or whatnot, but I thought that he did a good job of when he had to be called upon to switch onto guards. he did a pretty spectacular job of moving his feet and staying in front. And I thought that he finished everything around the rim pretty well. As I mentioned in the first quarter, when he rolled to the basket in those high pick and rolls with Trae Young, he finished for the most part. But Gallinari also in that second quarter didn't have a bad quarter, as well as Bogdanovich. But Reggie Jackson as well. When I say making the right reads, I don't just only mean passing. He got into the in-between area when he noticed that the big man was sagging off too deep and more worried about the roll. He got into that little floater. He got Capella on a switch one time and he hit a three right over him. And that may have been a Kongwu, one of the two. But Reggie was starting to feel himself at the end of that second quarter. And we started causing turnovers on Trae Young as well when he came back off the bench in that stretch. So third quarter, though, Trae started playing better again. However, the third quarter, I thought we were very solid because Amir Coffey he had a stretch where he played of a couple of minutes where he was fantastic. He hit a couple open threes. He ended up finishing 2 of 2 from 3 and 3 of 6 from the field. He turned the corner once or twice on Trae Young, and there was one play where he dumped it off to Zoo for the dunk, and another one where he got an and one. And, I thought that we should have tried to get Trae Young involved in the action so much more on defense. And I feel like that's a big mistake that a lot of teams make, is not trying to attack that guy on defense more. And, we need to do a better job. I think, we're not going to play the Hawks in the playoffs or anything, but I think teams really need to do a better job of making Trae Young work harder on defense because, he's not a good defender. He's not, strong or, tall and he does so much offensively. So you're not going to get the best effort from him on that end. So I would try to put him in the actions way more. Amir Coffey, he even got a steal off an inbounds in that third quarter stretch. And we got a dunk off of it to take the lead, I believe 76-74. However, the Hawks did a good job of ending the quarter. They called timeout. And when Marcus Morris Sr. got ejected, that's when the game kind of turned. He was unhappy with the call. And, we were giving the Hawks a lot of second chance opportunities. I give credit to guys like John Collins, who, I mentioned last year, he has games where he gets a lot of offensive rebounds. Tonight he had 2, DeAndre Hunter had 2, and Clint Capella had 6. And, I'm sorry, I looked at the wrong stat. My bad. John Collins had 1 offensive rebound, but Clint Capella had 5. And Onyeka Okongwu had 6, and he made his presence felt. And one play that really in the fourth quarter kind of changed the game was when he dunked all over Ivica Zubac. And that was the worst I've ever seen Zoo get dunked on. That was a ferocious jam. And Kevin Huerter hit like 2 contested threes, 1 to beat the shot clock. That was pretty deep. And, I've always said that I thought Kevin Huerter's a good player. I think he can be a little bit inconsistent, as most young role players can be, but he can shoot. He can create his own shot off the dribble. I know maybe not consistently enough for some Hawks fans, but I've seen him do it. I've seen him play making pick and roll. He's a player. We saw him in Game 7 last year against the Sixers in Wells Fargo Center, and he was fantastic. He was their player of the game. But Hawks, Kevin Huerter made those 2 threes, made it 103-94. But I like the way Zoo responded to the alley-oop when he got dunked on. He went right to the post, made a jump hook right over Okongwu. And for the first time, guys, I always say this, and you know how long I've been saying it. We need to look for Ivica Zubac more as a go-to guy in the post. And tonight, we did that in the fourth quarter. We only do it in the first quarter usually, but we did it in the fourth quarter tonight, and he was actually scoring, and we actually made the game close. And Trae Young, he got some good looks for his team late in the game, finding guys like, as I said, Kevin Huerter, for open threes and such. But we had a chance to make the game close, or to win the game, really. And we were down 2 points, and Reggie Jackson, we got the same switch that we had just scored on with DeAndre Hunter guarding Ivica Zubac, and Reggie Jackson settled, man. He settled for a 3. We were down by what happened was we were down by 4, and we didn't go in time for the 2-for-1. DeAndre Hunter had just scored. We did not have the 2-for-1. The time, I thought he was going to take a quick shot, Reggie, when he came up the court. I thought he was going to take a quick one. He didn't. And then, Zoo had the switch with DeAndre Hunter on him and was actually trying to post up. And Reggie kind of looked him off and just kind of did his Reggie thing where he danced and shot a contested three. Clint Capella was the one defending him there and did a good job, and that sealed the win for the Hawks. 112-106 at the Highlight Factory. The Clippers dropped to 35-34. Not a game I think we should have won. We were not the better team tonight. We almost stole it, but, Marcus Morris Sr. being ejected, that really hurt. I truly don't think we did many things wrong. I think the Hawks, when they play solid and when they try defensively, they are a decent team. They are a team that could make some noise. I don't think they'll make it out of the first round this year if they're lucky enough to get through the play-in, which I think they will, just given Trae Young and their experience that they gained last year. But I just think it's been too topsy-turvy of a season. They don't defend at a well enough level to make it out of the first round this year. Not in this East. That's maybe the best East of my entire life. Probably is. But they move on to 32-34, still 2 games under 500. Let's read the lines. Off the bench for the Clippers, Luke Kennard, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists on 4 of 6 from the field, and 3 of 3 from deep. So Luke, he made his shots. It's just sad that in 31 minutes, enough. And you got to give credit to the Hawks. They probably, knew Luke Kennard and how well he's been shooting lately and made an effort to try to not get him too many open looks. Terrence Mann, 6 points, 4 boards, 3 of 7 in the fourth quarter in the beginning. He had a good look at a 3 that if he would have made it, could have really made a difference for us. But, you can't get too mad at Terrence because one thing you know about him, he's always going to try and he's always going to guard good players. And he did that tonight. Amir Coffey, 8 points, 3 of 6 from the field and 2 of 2 from 3. Again, another guy that shot efficiently, just didn't get as many shots as we'd like him to get. Reggie Jackson, 24 points, had some incredible finishes too in the game around the basket. One of them, when we were making that late push, he blew by Trae Young and finished at the rim amongst the trees. 9 of 20 from the field, that's 45% for Reggie Jackson. 3 of 8 from deep to go along with 5 rebounds and 5 assists, but also 5 turnovers out of our 12. So Reggie Jackson, it's been a problem with him all season, and it's not going to be something that gets fixed. It's just something he's got to do a better job of taking care of the ball. Ivica Zubac, fantastic. Should have gone to him more. Should have gotten the shot at the end. 24 and 12 to go along with 4 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks. So that was a great bounce back performance from what I believe was his worst game of the season the other night against the Wizards. It was pathetic. Even worse than the last live I talked about against the Warriors. He lost all confidence. He was not going up strong at the rim. He was second-guessing everything. And he was even second-guessing passes. And that's why I know Zoo's just off. But tonight, he gained that swagger back, and that'll hopefully bode well for us going forward. Marcus Morris Sr. finished with 13 points, only 33% shooting, 4 of 12, and 1 of 6 from deep before he got ejected. So that was sad. And then Nico Batum, 13 points on 5 of 13 shooting, and 3 of 8 from deep. He was all right. For the Hawks, Bogdanovich, 11 points, 6 assists, on 5 of 12 shooting, 1 of 7 from deep. So, from 2, he was 4 of 5. So good for Bogdanovich inside the arc. Lou Williams, 1 of 6 in 12 minutes. I love you, Lou, but it's that time. Gallinari, 13 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists on 5 of 12 shooting, and an efficient 3 of 7 from deep. Onyeka Okongwu, 6 points and 9 rebounds. Doesn't sound like too much, but 6 offensive rebounds, and you best believe that impacted the game. All the starters for the Hawks, almost all in double figures. John Collins, only 9 points. And that's the thing, guys, is John Collins is that guy that I believed could be the closest thing to a second guy, but he does not seem to have much of an offensive bag. And look, I was talking about it with Hawks Fan TV today. It's not about having a face-up handle and dancing at the three-point line and being able to create your own shot like Reggie Jackson or something. I'm talking like a Marcus Morris Sr. kind of skill set. Mid-post, maybe get a little the face-up game. I've seen John Collins face guys up, shoot over them, jab step. Once you get a mid-range game, like in a contested mid-range, that's all you need because guys are going to start stepping up, and then you can take them off the dribble. And John Collins is very athletic. He's much more athletic than Marcus Morris Sr. Marcus Morris Sr., he doesn't even like going left. And he still just has a contested mid-range and provides 18 points a game or, 15 points a game for us. And John Collins, with his athletic ability, especially being as good as he is in pick and pops and pick and rolls, far better. Like Marcus Morris Sr. is not a pick and roll guy. He's a pick and pop guy. So John Collins, I feel like there's a lot of potential there, but, it's also on the team to try to unlock that by getting him looks throughout a game. 3 of 8, 8 shots is not going to cut it. But, I haven't watched the Hawks like I did last season. So it's hard for me to say, but only 9 points. It's just a lot to be desired there for Collins, who is averaging 16 points a game. And, he's averaged more than that in the past. He averaged more than that last season. So the fact that he's not progressing is just like, it's making me think the Hawks shouldn't have paid him. And then I was wrong about that. But anyway, Kevin Huerter, 6 of 12 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3, including those 2 late in the game. 16 points, or in the fourth quarter, I should say, not late in the game. 16 points, 8 boards, and only 1 turnover. DeAndre Hunter, 12 points, 5 of 7 from the field. Clint Capella, 14 points, 11 rebounds, a steal and 2 blocks on 7 of 9 shooting. So he finished very well around the rim. And then Trae Young, the player of the game, no doubt. 27 points, 5 rebounds, 11 assists on 8 of 17 shooting. And he only shot 4 threes, 1 of 4 from the three-point line, but 10 of 12 at the line. That guy is really annoying with how many free throws he's able to get and how many, calls he does get. But anyway, let's shift gears now to the Lakers against the Wizards. A really entertaining game, and another, for the second consecutive weekend, virtuoso performance by 37-year-old LeBron James. 50 points tonight in the game. And let's just get into all of that stuff. Lakers started out again with a small ball lineup. LeBron and Stanley Johnson basically sharing the 5 spot, depending on how who they want to guard on a given possession. Porzingis started at the 5 alongside Kuzma, Corey Kispert, the rookie out of Gonzaga, KCP, and Raul Neto. Of course, Bradley Beal out for the year with that wrist surgery. And then the Lakers, as I said, LeBron and Stanley J. And then Malik Monk, Austin Reeves, and Russ. So extremely small. And one thing I really liked was Porzingis, which is rare. I never give him props. But Kristaps Porzingis, I thought, actually came out and tried to get in the post, tried to dominate on mismatches. And he actually made some shots. It was like one of the best performances in a quarter I'd seen from Porzingis. He was getting to that mid post. Sometimes he posted up a little too high, and Stu made the same comment I made, posted up a bit too high. But, when he gets the ball within 12 feet, he doesn't, have the lower body strength to back guys in, but he can just turn and face or turn and shoot. And it's actually a pretty decent high percentage shot, in my opinion. I like when he goes to that. I do. I think it actually makes the defense work, and it's taking advantage of the mismatches. Because when the Lakers went small, when teams go small, they want to switch everything or switch a lot of those matchups. And the Lakers were doing that, and he was getting buckets. He was definitely getting buckets. I thought LeBron also had the right approach tonight in terms of shot distribution and the way he was getting his shots. So I thought in the first quarter he did a good job of playing off the ball. And that's something we've been seeing from LeBron all season long. I think what it is he comes out trying to play off the ball to accommodate Russ. And then when he sees Russ isn't having a good game, he kind of just reverts back to the LeBron ball dominance. And as long as the Lakers are defending, it's fine. My problems with the Lakers are less about the offensive struggles and more about that LeBron and Russ need to lock in on D. And I thought LeBron, you could just tell from his body language, from how much tighter he was guarding his man off the ball and, battling and communicating within the switch everything scheme. He was more engaged tonight. He was much better than, the Houston game and obviously the Clipper game last week. He rested the other game against San Antonio. And now I definitely believe it was rest after seeing the way he's performed. Obviously, he had a bad game the other night, but tonight he was ridiculous. So he was really good. He played pretty hard. He set a good tone on that end of the floor. I thought that, Malik Monk started out well. He got to the basket a couple times. LeBron had some really solid, nice passes, good looks in the first quarter. That play where Austin Reeves sets a quick little slip screen for LeBron and LeBron hits him with the wraparound right-handed bounce pass, has worked really well a couple times this season. And Austin Reeves also once or twice showed some chops playmaking in pick and roll. So again, Austin Reeves is another guy you can look going forward to be a creator. I really don't think that LeBron and Russ are forced to do everything offensively like everyone says. I know people might say, well, look at what you're saying. LeBron had to drop 50 to win the game tonight. No, he didn't. He didn't have to drop 50. He just had a good game and let it ride. But he got his help tonight across the board in terms of the shot creation. To me, it's Russ just having a tough season offensively and not being able to get stops, not having good defensive personnel, and constantly having the lineups changing, no consistency. And, LeBron found the nice, but as going back to LeBron and his balance in terms of the way he was getting his shots in the first quarter, the first play of the game, he came off for a catch and shoot 3 off a screen. That's different. Much different. And when it's hitting, it works because it lets Russ get an assist and just kind of stand at the top and, make the simple passes. So he also, I remember got a dunk or two, slipping in the basket on a screen or making a cut, but he had a really solid first quarter. Malik Monk had 7 points in the first quarter and, 7 points for the first time out even. The Lakers were up 9 though in the first, but they didn't capitalize on some open shots when Russ and Bron came out of the game. And many times tonight, Russ and Bron shared the bench together. And THT, I thought, took the responsibility of creating for the Lakers on the second unit. And I like that role for him. And I thought he excelled in that role tonight. It took a second for him to get going. He created some nice shots for Melo when he first came into the game, Melo, and he didn't hit. And Carmelo, he didn't have a very good shooting night tonight for his, standards, especially at home. 2 for 6. He only got 6 shots, which is crazy. THT got 10 more shots than Carmelo Anthony tonight, which is rare. But it's what, sometimes the Lakers need Melo to not take so many shots. And tonight was one of those nights. But Kyle Kuzma, I want to talk about for a second. The confidence that this guy is moving with in both the games I saw, all the games I've seen this season, but both the games I saw in LA these last couple days is very remarkable. It's clear he's kind of walked into the situation like, yo, I'm a champion. I got championship experience. And he leads by example, honestly, in the way he carries himself. I've seen him communicating now. His confidence on the ball is back. He is playing defense like he was in his last year and a half with the Lakers, like basically bubbling on, aggressive. He scored, with some Euro steps tonight. He was going at LeBron, hit 2 threes on him with LeBron guarding him. One was a step back and another one was just like in his face, if I recall correctly. I remember the step back really well, but it showed me a lot that Kuz has really, come a long way. The Wizards were able, though, to narrow the gap at the end of the first quarter when they went to a zone. And the Lakers took a couple of really rush shots, one by like THT, one by Melo, one by Bron, one by Russ. And Rui Hachimura came in and started hitting open shots, 3 balls. And, I like Rui's game a lot. He was injured for a good portion of the season, but he played well the other night against us too. I like how he kind of has a little bit of a post game, a little bit of that bully ball aspect of him. He got a couple of offensive rebounds tonight, 2 of them to be exact, and was actually punishing the Lakers' small ball lineup. And I saw some, overall good things from Rui Hachimura, and it was a tie game after 1, 26-26. Bron came back in the game and hit 2 more threes in the second quarter. One of them, he actually had 2 of these in the game where he kind of sized up Kristaps Porzingis on a switch and just, did that little side step to his left for the 3. He did it twice. One of them was high arcing in the second half. And then THT, he had a couple nice takes to the rim, but there was one play in the second quarter where he got a steal on the ball and he double clutch dunked it. It was very impressive. And another play where he went full on, street ball and one-on-one mixtape where he had a pullback and it sent, I don't remember if it was Corey Kispert or Denny Avdia. I think it was Kispert or Saturansky, one of those 3. It was a white guy. He got sent flying, and he made the jump shot too. So THT was really feeling himself tonight. But Rui Hachimura was continuing to eat Porzingis. Gafford, who I really like, he's really athletic. He blocks shots, and he as a lob threat. He had this one dunk where he just turned over his right shoulder, little drop step like he was Shaq, and just slammed it down with like authority in the second quarter. And I like watching him play. He's got potential. But bad ending to the second quarter. Terrible for the Lakers. It was very even, but at the end, LeBron had 2 bad possessions in a row, and then Russ missed a point-blank layup, which was taken advantage of on the other end by Kuzma on a reverse. And Corey Kispert also was another guy who had a really good game tonight. He can really shoot the ball. He has a really quick release. And there was one time where Russ just kind of like was ball watching for just a second, and Corey Kispert flashed to the corner and was found for an open 3 and nailed it. Deni Avdija, by the way, I had to make a comment on him because he wasn't involved at all, really. He only played 11 minutes, but I haven't watched Wizards games, but I really liked because they were a dime dropper team last season. I really liked what I saw from him last season. He had a lot of potential, but this season it just seems like he's never involved. He gets 1 or 2 shots, and he obviously misses because he barely touches the ball. He looks like he's just nothing, like he's came off the G League or something. So that's really embarrassing. Or not even embarrassing, but just disappointing more than anything. But second half, Kristaps Porzingis went to the bench, and he didn't play much after that, after his normal third quarter, stint in the game. And by the way, Russell Westbrook was having a very tough shooting night again. He got to the line early, like within the first couple possessions, and made one of them, and just missed his first 4 shots, was 1 of 9. And again, Russ just not able to shoot, people sagging off on him. So he's going to the basket and guys are right on him. You know what I mean? He's getting really heavily contested at the rim, more than years past. And yeah, it's just tough. But the third quarter, the LeBron James show absolutely took over the game for the second weekend in a row. The second home game in a row, technically. Yeah, because the Warriors, and they played the Spurs and the Rockets. So the second home game in a row, he put on a show. He was hitting from deep, which really got him going. And, he got an and one at one point, but then he hit a pull-up 3 that was just nice. And when he was hitting that turnaround over the right shoulder, some high arcing ones. He had, I think, 17 points, at least 14 points in the third quarter, and totally turned the momentum of the game on its head. And you know what happens when the crowd starts getting into it? Defense picks up. You get a little bit of that more motivation. Crowd's getting louder. Let me play a little harder. And the whole momentum of the game changes. And what do I always say? Basketball is all about momentum. Lakers getting in transition. LeBron feeling himself and starting to hit. THT doing his thing. Malik Monk benefiting off that, as was Austin Reeves. So, it was going the Lakers' way. 37-23 in favor of the Lakers in the third quarter. As I said, mainly led by that guy, LeBron James. And in the fourth quarter, more of the same. More LeBron. Just dominant. Russ started playing a little better, made some really nice passes. Actually found Austin Reeves for a couple of backdoor cuts, and Austin Reeves' movement off the ball was phenomenal. And one thing that was really interesting we didn't see tonight? Dwight Howard. We didn't see Dwight Howard at all tonight. We actually saw a little bit of Wenyen Gabriel, who if you'll recall, had a little 10-day stint with the Clippers earlier this year. He's in a vlog, I believe. A couple, actually, when I went to the games. And he hit an open corner 3. And on another play right after that, to end the third quarter, Russ kicked it out to him on a pick and pop. Porzingis closed out hard. He got by him and went to the basket and dunked. So I think what Wes Unseld figured out in the fourth quarter was, with the way LeBron was playing, he was definitely attracting 2 guys off the screen, because if you're letting LeBron get downhill and drop coverage, he will score and go right at your chest and at your body. And he did that and got an N1 against Porzingis in the second half. So once they throw 2 at him, you know what that means. LeBron's going to make the pass, and you're in a 4-on-3 situation as the offense. And THT actually had some moments where he moved off the ball well, which was rare. I always criticize his lack of off-ball movement, but tonight he had this one cut and dunk that was beautiful. And even later in the game, he had this spin move into a one-handed dunk on somebody. I forget who it was, but THT was really on one tonight. And it was just LeBron carried the Lakers home. He got his help, but it was a really solid all-around performance. And the Lakers win it 122-109. They move on to 29-37. The Wizards 29-36. LeBron, 50 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 18 of 25 from the field. Jeez. 18 of 25 from the field. That is 72%, ladies and gentlemen. Incredible. 6 of 9 from deep. So you know what? It kind of seems like when LeBron just shoots well from deep, like the Lakers seem to win, and when he doesn't, they lose. That's not true. But a lot of times, especially when he cools down in the second half with the jumper, it's kind of like how he shoots his, because he gets tired. He can't play go out to the rim every single second, the way he used to. So he tends to shoot more jumpers in second halves. And when he doesn't make them, it usually gets really tough. It's part of why the Lakers have lost a good amount of close games this year. But when he's hitting, the results usually show. So 50 points, he was unreal. And getting the crowd into it, he was really feeling it. Laker fans, let me know what you think. Was it good how much he was celebrating with the crowd? Was he that just, being in the moment, having a great game? Or is he acting a little bit too arrogant for somebody who's down 8 games below 500 or 9 games before tonight? You tell me. But he was feeling himself, and, he gave the fans their money's worth. Absolutely. 21 points also for Malik Monk on 8 of 12 shooting. So that's 66%. He had a very solid game, 5 of 7 from deep, scored in transition, hit his open threes, including one in the fourth quarter. That was big time. Austin Reeves, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. He played 32 minutes. He was 0 for 4 from deep, but 6 of 10 from the field. So 6 of 6 from the 2 from inside the arc. So Austin Reeves, and also great defense as well. A very solid defensive night for the Lakers, just able to be okay with the small ball. It was hurting for a large stretch of the game, but when LeBron kind of calmed things down, hitting his shots, the Wizards also went. This is what I was trying to say about the before I got sidetracked. When they were throwing 2 at LeBron, they were forcing the defense. When the Wizards throw 2 at LeBron and he makes that pass and the Lakers get in those 4-on-3 situations, that puts the Wizards defense in rotation. They have to scramble. So Wes Unseld took out Gafford and Porzingis to try to go with the switch everything scheme of their own. But LeBron was just having too good of a game. He was hitting those Kobe-like turnarounds over the right shoulder with a little shimmy shake in the corner contested. And this is what I always say about Bron. He's not consistent with that over the course of his career. When he is feeling himself, though, he will hit these days. Back in the day, kind of, but nowadays he'll still hit them even when he's not. He's more of a knockdown shooter and a better mid-range shooter, consistent now. Better just shooter, period, now. But when he's hitting shots with that degree of difficulty, usually when he's hot. And tonight he was. Russell Westbrook, 2 of 11 from the field, 5 points, but he did have 9 assists. He had some decent defensive moments, including 1 steal from behind on Porzingis in the midst of the LeBron run. But he also had moments where he kind of just stood around. He only got 3 rebounds tonight, where he stood around and ball watched and was not boxing anybody out, just kind of standing around in the vicinity to get a rebound. And, I can see through that a mile away. Melo, 2 of 6, 7 points. Stanley Johnson only had 7 points, but he had 6 rebounds, had 2 steals, no turnovers, was plus 20, played defense, got his hand on a couple of loose balls, and was 3 of 5 from the field. So overall contributed well. And then Talen Horton-Tucker, absolutely fantastic performance. 15 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 0 turnovers. So no Talen Horton turnover tonight in 30 minutes of play on 7 of 16 shooting, and he did not shoot a 3. So very impressive performance by THT Dynamite. Anyway, that's it for me tonight, guys. Make sure to hit that notification bell to know whenever I go live, whenever my latest video is. Make sure to comment for the algorithm so we start getting back in their favor as the playoffs are fast approaching and another season of Dime Dropper is getting ready to get to the nitty-gritty and the good stuff. Thanks for joining me tonight, guys. Now we're going to go to the live subscribers waiting oh so patiently in the chat. Peace out. The next time I'll be live will be, I believe, Sunday, but tomorrow I will be releasing part 3 of what went wrong with Carmelo Anthony's Knicks with my boy Fabian Perspect TV. If you have not checked out the first 2 parts, I highly recommend it, knowing about what happened detailed in the lead up to Melo's Knicks. And this episode, we're going to get into the good years of Melo's Knicks, the first 3, including Linsanity and how that broke up. Thanks for joining me tonight, guys. A 40-minute live, about 20 minutes on each game. I try to do my best. Did I ramble too much? Remember, I'm always trying to go for constructive criticism and feedback. And because this new software is working super well, I will now be able to have guests on my live recaps. So that's a game changer, absolutely. Thanks, guys, and good night. Yo, guys, let me blow my nose for a second, because the only reason I'm not out tonight with my boys is because I'm feeling a little sick. So let me blow my nose real quick, and I can take your comments. Guys, let me know what you think of the software. Look, I got a ticker. I got a ticker right there. What's up, everybody? Let's check out the comments. Shout out to my regulars, man. Shout out. R Hero. Hey, thanks, man, for saying audio sounds good, bro. I'm hearing clearly. I appreciate you. What's up, Jacob? You said, yo, how was Reggie? Did he struggle down the stretch? Not really, actually. He was playing really well down the stretch. Just made a bad decision at the end of the game. On the second to last possession, or last real possession that counted. Raid said, LeBron, do not take this man for granted. Hey, listen, man, for all I say about LeBron, I don't root for him, and I want him to lose literally every game right now. I've done the biggest service to his career in terms of, like, I try to watch every single game he plays. Like, there's no player in NBA history that this guy that you're listening to right now has watched more than Bron. He has been the player that I've watched the most total games of. There's no question now. But for how long he's played, because I haven't had a league pass my whole life, but whenever he was on national TV when I was a kid, I would make sure I watched it. It would be rare if I missed it. Rare. I would always try to watch. And then, because as I said, national TV games back in the day just felt more real. Resting, no load management. You know what I mean? It was just less injuries, everything. Just different level of competitors, more of a defensive-oriented game, which caused for more physicality. But, and now he's at the Lakers, so I get to watch every night. Anyway, Raid says, what a bounce back after that pathetic performance in Houston. Dude, this is so cool. I can put your fucking comments on. Isn't that sick? Kyle's take says, is Pop the GOAT coach for you? Man, I have to, dude, this is next level right now. I have to, watch everything. I think he has a case. And oh, by the way, that reminds me, I should have said something. Make sure, I'm going to say it next live. I got to remind myself. But congratulations to the great Greg Popovich, passing Don Nelson's record for the most wins in NBA history for a coach. He's thoroughly deserves it. He's arguably the greatest coach ever. I used to say he was, but I have to watch more ball. And Red Auerbach surely has a case. It's just kind of hard to go with Red because there's not enough film. So I'm probably going to go with either Pop or Phil. But it's tough. It's really tough. There's no wrong answer there. It's those 3 to me. Yeah, oh my bad. Hold on. Agreed, Dario. I was shocked to see Porzingis actually take advantage of his size. Facts. He was. And they went away from it. I think it's because the Lakers were getting defense in rotation, but they should have just kept doing it to get him in foul trouble. I don't know why. I think part of it's Porzingis, especially when he had LeBron on him, he doesn't want to post up because he can't. LeBron's too strong for him to Porzingis can't post him up. Yeah, maybe if you did that last year in the playoffs, the Mavs would beat your Clippers. Here's the thing about Porzingis. Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't even read the Wizards lines. That's stupid. I should have read them. Let's see what he had in the end. 3 for 13. Man, 14 for 14. He's still got a lot of rebounds, but that's ridiculous, dude. That's an embarrassment. Kuzma had 23 points on 9 of 18 shooting, though. And Rui had 15 on 6 of 11. They should start Rui. Put Corey Kispert at, that's the KCP. Yeah, why do they just start Kispert? I know he's a good everyone just loves shooters, man. It's just all about shooting. Hate it. Corey Marshall says, Glenn is overrated, coach. He won titles. 76ers fans must have forgotten Harden does not show up. Oh, yeah, last night. Oh, my God. What a disaster, guys. Jesus Christ. That was so terrible. I mean, James Harden. I mean, Plumber Jim. He showed up. He was Plumber Jim last night. Absolutely disgraceful. KD was great. Kyrie, though, was the standout. He guarded Harden for the majority of the time that he was in. And that impressed the shit out of me. He was getting through every screen. He was talking, and then he was scoring himself on offense. Seth Curry was making shots. That Nets team looked dialed in. They wanted to make a point to Harden. They wanted to kick his ass, and they did so. On Ben Simmons' return night, it was very hostile. And Joel Embiid didn't have a good night either. And I want to say also, Nikola Jokic I know it was 4 games in 5 nights, but he got locked up at the end of that game last night by Kevon Looney. So shouts out to Kevon Looney. But Jokic and Embiid, they're bringing the center position back. And I know it's certain coverages, like they'll zone up or try to, take away the post. There are counters to these things. I'm not saying they don't know them. They do. It's all about working hard for the position, though. Joel Embiid was falling too in love with jump shots. Jokic looked a little gassed. It's like, I'm hearing talks of best offensive center ever when it comes to Jokic, most skilled center ever when it comes to Embiid. This shit does not matter when you're whipping on weak-ass teams and weak-ass centers in the regular season. Who are you doing it against the best? Are you going to be able to change the narrative, bring back the big man, and truly lead the championship? First one since Shaq. Who's going to be the guy to do it? Can you do it? I'm not saying Jokic with this team, but, he can't be getting locked up like that. If a game is close, the best player needs to make plays. Make plays. Doesn't mean score. It needs to make plays. And that's not what Jokic did last night at the end of the game. But he gets a pass, though, because regular season. But Embiid and Harden, especially Harden, was a joke. Absolute joke. They didn't try. And you know one thing about Glenn? It's great that you brought that up, Ja'Cory, because Glenn Rivers, I used to have this criticism of him mainly in 2017 that there were some nationally televised games, 2 in particular, one against the Warriors, one against the Rockets, where it's like, look, this is our last year Lob City. You better have us ready to play. The one thing needs to be clear, the effort needs to be there. We got embarrassed both times. And this was a huge game for everyone was going to be watching. I watched. It was one of the only Sixers games I watched this season. They got embarrassed. They were not prepared. They didn't try. And I know that's on the players more than anything, but as the coach, like you just looked like clueless. You know what I'm saying? They were out tactic. And Kevin Durant said it. And Kenny Smith taught me something. He made a really good observation. He said, when Kevin Durant said, we tried to get him in transition. We knew they weren't going to make that second and third effort. He said he slipped up by saying that. But he called them out. Second and third effort. And Kenny Smith said, you would never describe a championship team that doesn't make those efforts. And he's spitting facts. That's true. And I think those little things are going to be why they're not going to win a championship, Glenn Rivers aside. Kyle Dominic Yu says, if you guys actually match up with Memphis in the 2-7 matchup, are you positive the Clips can upset? No, I'm not. We've gotten swept by Memphis this season. They're way too young. They have the best player in the series. But you know what's going to be fun, though? The vlogs, because it's going to be true home games for the Clippers because there's no Memphis fans. So, fix for like 3. Right? Said LeBron really leading the league in scoring at 37. I believe him when he says that he win the scoring title every year if he wanted. Yes, but his teams would end up with this record, Raid. That's the thing. Who cares? You don't think Kobe Bryant could have averaged LeBron numbers if he wanted? If he just held the ball constantly and just tried to play make and pick and roll? He absolutely could have, especially in this era. But it's right. LeBron doesn't do that for a reason. Because as I said in the beginning of the season, if you guys remember, it feels like when he scores 30 plus and looks to be like a scoring dominator, he takes too long. So it feels like people don't get in rhythm. And then you have to rely on him to end the games, and he's not the most reliable at that. So I think that it's better if he doesn't win the scoring title because it's not his game. And when he does that, they won't win. The defense will get what they want. It's the same. It's the Stan Van Gundy 09 strategy. But by the way, is he leading the league in scoring? I thought Embiid was leading the league in scoring. Unless tonight, after tonight's game and last night's game, it adjusts. Here, let me look. No. Maybe it hasn't updated. It says Embiid is 29.7, LeBron 29.3, so we'll see. Right says, bro, Vogel needs to keep Melo's ass on the bench unless he's hitting. He can't guard. Stanley and Gabriel deserve most of his minutes. I feel you on that. Corey Marsh said, LeBron could lead in all-time scoring, and I will still choose Kobe and MJ as my GOATs. Yeah, I feel you. It's bigger than stats. Vogel needs to play the youth, says Raid. I feel you. You don't have that much. Okay. Joey C says the Lakers desperately need to get younger. You can see the younger guys feed off LeBron, and he feeds off their energy and so forth. Russ's minutes also need to be heavily reduced. Fair. What do you mean by get younger, though? This is their roster. Right? Says Russ is cooked. This isn't just about it being a bad fit. He can't even make layups. Even with LeBron at the 5 and floor being spaced, he disappoints. Yeah. Although here's the thing, though. It's not always fully spaced because teams are sacking off Stanley Johnson. But yes, it's more space in the past. What's up, Cameron? So it'll be fascinating if the Mavs fall to the 7th in the West and Clippers see them in the postseason again. How would that happen? Oh, can the play-in? Yeah, I don't think so, man. I think the Mavs and the Nuggets are starting to build separation from the Timberwolves. Oh, Joey C says Dwight Howard was unavailable tonight. He's had back issues and some personal issues. Okay, thanks. No, Kendrick Nunn is not going to play this season. I wouldn't doubt it. It's been a joke. Yes. Spurs overtook Blazers and are just one game behind NOLA. Yeah, they're not going to make it, though. I still got... Except the thing is, Brandon Ingram out for like 7 to 10 days. Hopefully it doesn't cost him too much. I still want the Pelts to make it. Yeah, exactly. See, in both those 50-point games, he shot well from 3. Yes, Darian, even though the season has been a shit show, LeBron James has been spectacular, and I'm glad I get to witness his greatness night in, night out. Facts, me too. Although sometimes you also notice that he doesn't take it seriously every night. Tonight he did, but I'm just saying this is not every night. It's not about the 50, you know? It's the effort. It's the intensity. Tonight, like when he's getting into it like that with the crowd, that's called you're into it. That's, a kid at the game that night is never going to forget that. That's what I'm talking about, though, but that's what Kobe did every night. You know what I'm saying? That effort level in his prime. And not even his prime, in his years where he was before the Achilles, you know? Would the team get blown out sometimes? Of course, yeah, but you'd see like how pissed he was about it. It wasn't just like this. It's a difference between being pissed and then bitching. You know what I mean? That's the difference between Kobe and Bron to me sometimes. And that has nothing to do with basketball. That's just on my own list. I mean, it does, but it's just like my preference or what I notice, as a leader. And I'm not even saying Kobe's a better leader, but it's different. It's what you want. What was the highest scoring performance by a player you saw in person at a game? I'm pretty sure it was. I can check for you. I saw Blake Griffin's career high 43 points. Blake Griffin's career high 43 points against Indiana in 2011. Oh, he broke that career high though. It may have been that. Hold on. There we go. 46 points by Kevin Durant. It was his career high at the time on January 23rd, 2009. I was at that game. That was the highest scoring game I think I've seen. Kevin Durant, 46 points. It was his initial career high, and he broke it. But I've never seen a 50-piece. So Kawhi had 43 points against the Cavs in 2020. Had that. So there's the answer. I wouldn't care if his team was dead last in the standings. He was putting on a show and giving the fans their money's worth. He's also earned the right to talk a little shit too. Not arrogant at all. Fair enough. He's the only player ever to have multiple 50-plus point games after the age of 35. Unreal. Yeah, absolutely. When do you usually do your playoff post-game recaps? Right after the game? Same as this. Software is great, by the way. Yeah, thanks, Raid. Thoughts on I already said that. Yeah, we already went over that. I also want to say this, though, on this. Tyrese Maxey was taken out of rhythm by Harden and Embiid last night. That was disgraceful, how the confidence they took away from that kid. You could see how nervous he was every time he touched the ball. He was looking to pass. He wasn't looking to create. And the one time he did, he lost the handle. You know what that is? I've been in those situations. When you're not comfortable with your handle, that means you're fucking nervous. You know what I'm saying? So Harden, that's the thing, though. A casual fan won't notice that. You're not going to get that content because you're going to say, oh, he's just nervous. It's, he needs to be ready to sacrifice. Fuck that. You feel me? You need to know as the point guard what gets your teammates ticking. You know what I'm saying? Harden is a great player that can always score. Embiid, he's the go-to guy. It's okay for him. Maxey, no. He needs to be more involved. And Tobias as well, but I know what Tobias is on. He's very timid. But this is on Harden in the playoffs. He's the point guard. He needs to find out what buttons to push and when to push them. That's what makes the best players. You feel me? Chris Paul has excelled at that, but even he sometimes fucks up at the end. You know what I'm saying? It's very hard to win championships. Very hard. So that's why these are special players that do it. That's why I don't let people say, championships are a team accomplishment. Yes, led by historically great players that have to make very key decisions in big moments and know what wins games. And Harden has not figured that out yet in terms of championship level. We'll see, though. He has a chance to show it. But he took Maxey out of rhythm. And Tobias, they need to do a better job with getting him involved. He can't just become a spot-up shooter, and I fear he will. That he's going to become a spot-up shooter and just get scapegoated for everything in the playoffs. Watch. Thoughts on the Warriors and Nuggets? Curry looked like the best player on the court. That's my thoughts. And Poole hit big shots. And Wiggins' free throw shooting is a real issue right now. Real issue. By the way, my space with Ricky G Tuesday night is coming back with the Warriors. Me, Nat, Jason. It's going to be great. So, guys, follow me on Twitter and come on stage and talk. Yeah, right? The StreamYard, bro. This is going to be a game changer. That's why I'm so disappointed, guys. It's like, look, my content has gotten so much better this year. I feel like I'm getting better at the recaps. I'm like trying not to ramble as much, be a little bit slower, not use as many ums. Instead, I'll have more pauses now. If you haven't noticed, I'll try to like silence is better than just saying I still say too much though, and then because it's hard. I just did it again. See, it's hard because I don't have a partner. So it's a little bit more difficult, but I try my best, and I hope I do a decent enough job to think of thoughts on the fly. Because I think a lot of people would struggle doing that. But I also want to have – there I go again. I also want to have guests on the live as well, especially during the playoffs, authentic fans of teams. I'm always messing with that. But, yeah, the software. So the HD camera, right? So much. Look, you see my freaking vein, dude. You weren't able to see that last year. You could see my thing. My HD camera, my light. I got a light. Look at the lighting. It's so much better. I don't have that light in your guys' face anymore. And I have a software. Like, dude, it's so much better. We're going to the next level. But, we just got to keep it pushing. Remember, algorithms. Keep commenting, keep sharing, keep telling your friends. You know what it is, man. Ooh, he's going pop, Phil, and Riley. Come on. You got to show the pioneer, the fast break. Red Auerbach. You guys got to see how the Celtics are the original fast break team. Just take more shots than everybody. Get the rebound and then push it and get open mid-ranges in transition. Also, one thing I love about him is he gets Russell to pull out to the foul line in the high post, and Russell. So that opens up the paint for guys like Sam and Hondo to cut and shit and back screens and all those type of actions. Who's a better coach, Bill Russell or Glenn Rivers? I mean, Bill Russell, I know he didn't do that great as coaches for other teams. He was best as the player coach. So I'd have to say Glenn Rivers, honestly, as crazy as that sounds, because Bill Russell got to play. He had to leave himself in the whole game. It's very easy to do that when you're a great player like he is. Not easy to coach, but I'm saying it's easy to for that to just strategize, like, hey, I'm going to put myself in for 48 minutes and then you're not going to lead on the court. This thing, I always say coaches aren't on the court, but in that case, he is on the court. So he has an advantage there in this. So I actually have to go with Glenn just because he's won a championship as a coach. Yes. But I must tell you this, Raid. It's not just about Curry. Remember I said, is the NBA getting better and better? League direction. League wanted it to become more of a perimeter game. That's why they made zones legal. Remember what I said about that? That is to promote perimeter plays, to get the ball out of the post. And then when they put take away hand checking, it's to make it so that perimeter players can have more movement, more freedom, can get to the rim. You feel me? And guys have benefited that their whole careers. Guys like LeBron, guys like Chris Paul, even though he's not a downhill guy, Westbrook, Steph, everybody. And that's not to say that they wouldn't be able to play before that. Of course they would, because it's still basketball and they still get hand checked today. It's just about how much. And yeah, every offensive player gets worse in that kind of basketball. Yeah, facts. The two clutch threes pools are just because the attention Steph gets on screens. Facts. It's big time. Got to knock him down, though. Bucks is still your fave out of the East. Anyone can have a different opinion in the East fave. Mine is Miami. I'm going to go with the Bucks. But I do think the Heat are the best matchup for them, Kyle. But I still go with the Bucks. LeBron now at 25.74. Wow. Hey, if he leads the league in scoring at this age, that would be an incredible achievement. Incredible. Wouldn't change anything about what I think of him all the time. But because that's not what he's playing for at this stage. He's not playing for scoring titles. He's playing to try to win championships, and they have failed. It doesn't matter if he's. I didn't expect him to shoot more shots this season than ever before with the big three, but of course, AD's out. But tonight, again, when he wins, I got no issues. I'm never going to criticize when he wins. It's the losses. So if you want to go see what I say about those, you can check those out all season. All you guys have, though, but extremely impressive. It's still extremely impressive. It's one of a kind stuff. Absolutely. No doubt. Hasn't updated, he says. What's up, Max? You know, right, that doesn't matter what personnel is on your Clippers, but no one should be sleeping on those guys. Facts, that's true. But still, winning playoff series is totally different. You need stars. Okay, offseason, younger guys, fair. Thoughts on Tyler Hero reportedly getting paid $184 million for 5 years? Way too much. But if they win the championship, that's fine. I was talking about this with my friends today, actually. But if he wins the championship, sure, that's not going to happen. Whoa! Whoa! Fabian Perspective. What are you doing up, Sonny? Dude, chill out. I already know you're lying through your teeth with that LeBron GOAT stuff, my guy. But hey, he's fantastic. And if you think he's the GOAT, that's your opinion. I disagree wholeheartedly. But he is spectacular. One of a kind. The best goddamn 37-year-old to ever play basketball. The best player in year 19 to ever play basketball. Damn it. And the best cross-court passer in the history of basketball. Arguably the best attacker of the rim in the history of basketball. And arguably the best passing forward in the history of basketball. I'll say he's also the best at fast and hard passes in half-court set. But I think Magic has a case, but I think that probably includes skip passing and stuff, so I'd give LeBron the edge. Magic in the open court is the best. But, yeah. Thoughts on Clay recently and also Wiggs. I mean, if you go back to my recap, what was it? Oh, the other night, Clay be hijacking the offense. Yeah, man, it seems like Wiggins has also played worse since Clay's come back. So finding that balance is going to be key. Draymond coming back is going to be key. It's going to be interesting, man. You're going to have the things to work out because Clay's coming back. He thinks he's still Klay Thompson. You feel me? He shoots every chance he gets, and he needs to chill a little bit. He's not playing at an all-star level right now. He's kind of screwed up the chemistry. Beluga says, do you think Harden's style of play is bad for big games, but he won't get every foul call? Yes. Are you new here? Come on, Beluga, you're not. I hope 06 is not the year you were born, by the way. But if it is, hey, man, more power to you. Hope you're doing well in high school, G. Wiggs free throw shooting, disgusting. Sometimes we could have won games if he hit more of them. Yeah, I know, right? Hey, yo, Kyle Dominic you, bro. By the way, Raid and Kyle Dominic you, one day I will repay you for the support, bro. Guys, both of you guys. I will repay you one day because I appreciate it more than you know. Have us as your guests. Hey, man, I'm not opposed during the playoff for you to hop on one time for the Warriors. The only thing is, Kyle, I also have to get guys like one thing I have to do a better job of, and I've been talking about this with my boy Fabian, is getting guys also that have as big of followings or bigger than me. Because, like, obviously I'm down to have you guys on here and there. I've had my friends on. I'd like to have you on. I mean, are you a good speaker? You know what I'm saying? If you're comfortable in front of that mic, I'll have you on. But it's also like we want to keep building too, But remember, if you want to come talk to us, Spaces is the perfect place. I host those to interact with you guys. Thank you, Ryan. You know it. We just got to get back in those favor of these algorithms. My boy John Lentz. What's up, baby? True, and also punks Daryl Morey and Mike D'Antoni in the analytics movement are a big part of the three-point era. You damn right. You damn right. Unless he says AD getting healthy, LeBron better go get that scoring title. Hey, man. Miami, honestly, is one of the more complete teams aside from Phoenix. They can match up with anyone in the East and maybe even the West, except they share the same issue to me, and that's that they don't have a top 5 player. But in Phoenix's case, to me, they got a top 10 player, and that's Devin Booker, because he can just, his offensive bag is just so reliable compared to Jimmy Butler. That's my issue with Jimmy, is he just doesn't have that offensive talent enough to me. He still can be a closer. He still has a nice fall away. And like, he has that move where he stops on a dime going right and pulls up. But when you cut that off, he'll just try to pump fake you. And you got to try to stay on your feet. But if you just contest it, it's pretty good. Like, he doesn't really have any counters, you know what I mean? Or any dribble combos or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? He had that nice move where he pivots and turns that we saw in the bubble a lot. But Devin Booker's like, you literally can't guard him one-on-one. Tyler Hero, honestly, may have more offensive bag than Jimmy Butler, but he's not, when he gets a little physical, like, he's not going to win. I don't think Tyler Hero's going to make those big plays to win you the championship. You know what I'm saying? It's a different level. So he's not ready for that yet in my eyes. But Chris Paul and Booker can both close games. They're two of the best closers in the league. So that's why I give them the favor. And they've just been there last year, so. Right? You really think LeBron's the GOAT? I thought you had someone else as your GOAT. It's really LeBron? Stop it now. This guy, Michael George. Knicks and Clippers suck. That Knicks comment's only for Fabian perspective, I'm guessing. But man, relax, Michael George. You guys are the laughing stock of the season. Let's not get on our high horse after a win tonight, buddy. No, chill. Sometimes it gets frustrating because the ball's always moving until it finds Clay and Wiggs. Hijackers. Look at this guy being a model citizen. That's bullshit. That's not how I do things. You're getting paid back in some way, shape, or form. You're going to pay us by continuing to provide good content and speak the truth. What do you mean Fabian sent to troll? What are you doing? Having communication on the side? D-Book, who are the other 9 in no particular order? Yes, I have D-Book in my top 10 personally. Let's see. I got the top 4, Giannis, in no order. Giannis, Jokic, Steph, and Kevin. That's my 4, right? After that, in no order, it goes Joel Embiid, Luka, LeBron, not Jimmy Butler, not Damian Lillard, not John Morant yet. I need to have the playoffs. Not Darius Garland, not Julius Randle, not Chris Paul, Devin Booker, not Jason Tatum or Donovan Mitchell either. I'm going with Booker. I'm going with him. So there you go. And then the other guys, I don't know. You can put Jason Tatum in there. Not Anthony Davis. That's for sure. Oh, Harden? Yeah, probably Harden. I'd say Harden. I like Booker over Harden these days, though, all day, because he actually tries on defense every game. So, yeah. I got Booker in that 10. More than Draymond. Like, I'm trying to think around. Let's see. Kyle's take says it's really hard to analyze how Golden State matches up with Phoenix, but I always trust our experience. Size. It's all about Ayton. If he wants to dominate, totally different series. But you guys have more weapons to me. And you have that championship experience and the best player in the series. Yeah, that's what I thought, right? Joey says, I don't have a book in the top 10. What players do you think are better? Jason Tatum? Kyrie? No. I can't give him that satisfaction. I'm sorry, I can't. When he's playing, no. Because Kyrie comes with his baggage. And plus, Devin Booker, like, I know he may not be like the vocal leader and the floor leader, like the real true leader of that team, but he leads by example in his own way. You know what I mean? Like, I think that he's been closer to being the best player on a championship level team than Kyrie ever has. So that's my thing. Nah, I'm not going with Ja yet, man. I'm not going with Ja. I need to see the playoffs. Man. John Morant's defense, jury's out, man. Jury's still out on that. Devin Booker has really stepped up his defense as Monty took over. And he's unstoppable scoring the ball. I think John Morant's a better passer, but that's all he's better at to me in terms of like, if you're looking at it from that kind of, I don't like these imaginary checklist kind of comparisons, because John Morant's better finishing at the rim. He's got a better quick step. But I like Devin Booker's offensive bag, and I think Devin Booker's a really underrated playmaker. I really do. And I have to give him his satisfaction after making it to the finals last year and playing at the level that he played. You know, he had a series where he played better than LeBron. He literally played better than LeBron. And everyone would say he's injured. Cry me a fucking river, dude. He played better than him all day long. And Devin Booker, I got to give him that satisfaction right now. I'll give John Morant an edge over Chris Paul, though. But I got to see more. I thought D-Book was great, man. I really thought he was great. Yeah. Will you say John Morant's better than James Harden? Are you ready to say that right now, Fabian? Okay, then thanks for making my point for him. Ja's defense is terrible. He's definitely not better than Book. Book's defense is not some elite shit, but he has gotten way better since Monty took over. It's all about that effort. How did I start calling it Harden, Plumber, Jim? Was it in the 2021 recaps? Yes, it was, but it's all my guy Johnny on Twitter. He's like the king of like the NDA, No Defense Association, and Plumber Jim. Well then, I'm going with Book. Until the playoffs. If you want to see Test John in the playoffs, isn't the Clippers a great start to that test? Yes, he's going to kick our ass. He's going to kick our ass. It's really just about how everybody plays, though, like how relative to their like standards. You know, like is Book's going to ball out too, you know? DeRozan, I need to wait to the playoffs for that one for sure. I'm more confident in Ja because he's rising. You know, DeRozan, it's like this is it. If he does not perform well this year in the playoffs, oh man, the slander is going to be terrible. By the way, when healthy, Paul George can be in this conversation, as can Kawhi. Ja's better than Harden? Okay, fair enough. This playoffs is going to be great. It's going to be the validation. It's going to be that validation. Memphis can't lose in the first round, by the way. What about Donovan Mitchell and Jason Tatum? Jason Tatum's been playing amazing lately. Amazing. And Zach LaVine, I don't want to sleep on him too. Zach LaVine's a hell of a player. And he's going to have a chance to prove himself in the playoffs too. A lot of guys, it's going to be big playoffs for them. So many. I think, honestly, Steph, LeBron, even Jokic, I feel like they have the biggest, like, safety net of, like, even Giannis per se. But I don't know, man. If Giannis lost, like, what team should beat them in the East? You know, I feel like a lot of these guys have something to prove. Like, really have something to prove. You know? It's put up or shut up. Do I hate Draymond, how he talks about the game? No, I like Draymond. I think he's really smart. I think he's obviously going to be a guy, you know, big pro this era because the Warriors are the team of this era. But, you know, not really. He's not that disrespectful or anything. Before I start talking about the Clippers, we got to see if they can beat the T-Wolves. Yeah, fair. Kawhi is definitely in the convo, bro. Kawhi might be the best player if healthy. Yeah, maybe. Utah Jazz, look, you have a sort of make or break playoffs for sure. They gotta do something if they don't make it like to the conference finals this time, and they won't. That's the thing. They may lose in the first round. So it's again, Donovan Mitchell, amazing, like awesome player, but he needs to step it up on defense in this playoffs, and he needs to not fall too in love with those deep jumpers that he did last season. And then Rudy Gobert needs to freaking. I'm not even calling him Escar Gobert. Rudy Gobert needs to freaking dominate mismatches, or else they will never make it out of the second round with him as their second best player ever. They will never. I said that at the bubble. I said it after the bubble, and they still ran it back last year and won 60 games or whatever, or 50 games, whatever it was, and they got embarrassed, and I was there to see it. Check out that vlog. The difference between Memphis this year and last year is that this year they have some sort of expectation. That's not the only difference. Desmond Bane and the improved play of Jaren Jackson Jr. and, of course, Ja Morant. Kawhi, PG-13, I like the generosity, but they're not in this conversation right now. You really going to have Harden and no Devin Booker? Harden? Now? I got to have Devin Booker over. I don't know, man. I can't put D-Book over Harden because D-Book's having a better season, and then he had a better playoffs last year, and his team's doing better. And if he has another better playoffs this year, I think it's safe to say that Devin Booker is better than him now. But I feel you, though. It's still a little arguable. Giannis, Steph, Joker, Embiid. Giannis is better. Steph is better. Joker's better. Embiid is better. But Embiid still hasn't made it past the second round, and it's partially his fault. Now, he's having a better season right now, but I need to see this in the playoffs. All this shit about the regular season does not mean enough to me if he doesn't do it in the playoffs. He had a great playoffs last year, but in the fourth quarter, he flamed out. Every single fourth quarter, he flamed out. LeBron, yeah, sure. I still think his defense is so trash some nights, though. That's like, fuck. And I like the way that Devin Booker's able to work quickly off the catch from anywhere on the floor. He's got spots. LeBron turns and faces and surveys, and that kind of stagnates ball movement. But I still put LeBron over Booker. Doncic, yes. Trey, not for me. I think you have a case with Trey and Ja, but the defense, no. Tatum, I think that has a good case too. But the Trey, Ja, and Tatum are all arguable. The other ones, not. Yes, Booker definitely better than Brandon Ingram. I think he's definitely better. Just more confident. I think their defense is both comparable, but I think Booker's just a better shooter from everywhere on the court, especially when he gets to 18 feet area. But yeah, Booker be taking over. Tatum, my issue with Tatum is I think he falls too in love with the threes for being only like a 35, 34% shooter from them. And he's so much taller than Booker. So he should be able to get to the rim a lot easier and post up. Yet I think Booker has better post game than Tatum. And he's like 4 inches shorter. And you know, I know again it's team performance, but they went to the finals last year, and like he played so well. You know, he just did a great job. Devin Booker. Why does Steph have a safety net? The man needs to perform. So I think he's a GOAT point guard when I haven't seen anything to show it. Okay, yeah, you're right. I was just talking about like relative to the other guys. Like Steph's legacy is already solidified as like an all-time great. Like to me, I was talking about Fabian today, top 20 player ever. Like I think that's pretty solidified. Hey, what's up, Simpleton Study Hall? Simpleton Study Hall, bro. Get on Twitter. What's wrong with you? Dude, I'm going to keep begging you to get on Twitter because you're way too knowledgeable, bro. You have too much. Dude, I have a chat, bro. It's a bunch of historians. It's like 30 people. All of them are older than me. Get in there, bro. We need you. You're good. You have great knowledge. It's being wasted in the depths of the YouTube comments. You need to come to Twitter. You have too much knowledge, bro. Utah's losing to Dallas in the first round. Fuck the Jazz. I'd be so down for that. But if Utah loses again, Gobert probably going to get scapegoated again. He has some blame, but not all. For sure. It's never all one person's fault. You know what I'm saying? Never to me. Even LeBron 2011, Bosh didn't play well enough. That doesn't get talked about. I never think it's one person's fault. I'm talking when healthy. No, I'm just talking about this season right now, Joey C. Of course, I think Kawhi is better than Booker, but like I was talking this season. Yes, definitely, man. I think being the alpha number one is important. And Kawhi did that and had an historic playoff run at that. Respect to Pippen. But I think there's a lot of small forwards you could argue better than Scotty. I think he gets a little – I think, you know, I always talk about this with Fabian. He is the polarizing player in terms of, like, the way you evaluate Michael Jordan and the Bulls. It all depends on what your thoughts of Pippen are. Some people think he's really underrated and, like, did so much stuff for them, which is not – it's undeniable they did a lot for them. And then some people think that he's overrated as shit. Who are we giving the benefit of the doubt? Harden? Okay, fair enough. I don't like Harden. I don't think he leads. He's quit on 2 teams in a row, by the way, as well. Biggest moves for Ja focused more on scoring, and Memphis traded for Steven Adams. Desmond Bane, too. Come on, Darian. If Ben Simmons played half as good as he's capable, the Sixers would have easily won, not to mention they were handicapped by Glenn Rivers. Yes, but you also have to remember this. They were the number 1 seed. So their expectation was not just to beat the Hawks. It was to potentially go to the finals. They would have lost to the Bucks regardless. Now, I don't have any proof of that, but I would bet my money on it. That's true. Embiid runs out of gas too much. He needs a Tesla. That's the thing. Booker does not run out of gas. That fool gets good. He's pretty clutch. Him and Chris Paul. Alex Caruso. You sound like my friend NV. I know Utah won't make it out of the second round, but Utah versus Phoenix is going to be a great series. Yeah, I think the Suns will kick their ass. Choose one. CP3 game winner versus Spurs or the Terrence Mann game. Those are the two best games I've ever been to. Terrence Mann, because he broke the curse. As great as that Chris Paul night was, I see you, Joey C. I see you. I was going to say, back to this, as great as the Chris Paul game was, Devin Booker, that was something, man. Devin Booker. Terrence Mann, that was something, man. Absolutely something. But, no, the reason why I say that, too, is because, like, looking back at the Chris Paul thing, it was amazing. The competition was definitely better. Like, the Spurs were so much better than the weak-ass Jazz. But we blew it in the second round. This was the second round. So that shit means a lot. But anyway, hey, pretty solid night tonight, guys, for being this late on a fucking Saturday night, Friday night, or Friday night. 13 people in the live, 17, 18, 19 throughout. Let's see. People compare John Morant to Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook. But the best comparison for him is D. Brown. 2 point guards with long wingspans who could jump out of the gym with flair. See, first of all, I haven't seen D. Brown play enough. But I do know that he does have long arms and he had stupid balance. He won the dunk contest in 91. Again, Simpleton Study Hall, I'm going to keep badgering you to get on fucking Twitter. You're way too knowledgeable to be wasting your knowledge in the depths of the abyss in YouTube. You need to get there. You're too smart. You're too good. You need to have your knowledge spread. I'll retweet your shit, bro. I got 3,000 plus followers and I got people with, 1,000. Like, come on, man. You can do good in this world. There's so much Gen Z swine out there. We need to just chop off one at a time. And, there's guys on that decapitate those stupid bitches. But anyway, tonight, guys, great live, great night. Have a really good night. Tomorrow, Melo's Knicks Part 3. I'm going to be editing that right now. So, peace out, guys. Great debut for StreamYard tonight. Everybody give a hand for the software. Absolutely killing it tonight with a ticker. Yes, Gen Z swine. Anyway, peace out, y'all. Have a good night.